Hello, today I'm going to be doing some algebra problems, simple, basic algebra problems. I see I am pretty smart. I'm pretty smart at some of algebra. I don't know a lot about algebra, but I know some of it. I'm kind of good at math. I'm pretty smart at math. I'm pretty smart, like a child prodigy. But let's do a math problem. And if you hear anything in the background, that's just my brother playing a video game called Sonic Adventure Sonic Adventure 2 Battle or Sonic Adventure 2. Same thing, just different. Well, it's a little different, I guess. Maybe a little different. But let's just get on with the video and do some algebra math problems. So let's start with x times x. Now I'm doing a dot because a dot is also known as a multiplication sign. There's an of, an x, there's an x and an of, well, an x, of, and a dot, mostly, or you're by, like, 1 by 2, well, maybe not like that, but those are some of the things you can use to represent multiplication, an of, x, or a dot. But x times x, so I'm going to give you the answer. So you see, x times x equals x squared. So I'm going to give you the answer. So I gave you the answer, now I'm going to explain why it's that answer. So you see, when you do a number times a number, I'm going to put an x this time, I'm putting an x this time because, well, these are numbers, obviously. So I'm just going to put an x. I mean, I could just put a dot, but I guess I decided to put an x now. But this is 1 times 1. So you see, 1 times 1 is 1. But you see, look at the exponent. Now you see, if you don't know what an exponent is a number that is, well, an element. Well, it could be anything. They're like maybe a letter. But it's mostly a number at the top right of a mathematical symbol, maybe a number or a letter, the top right, and it represents how many times that this element right here will be multiplied, how many times. So you see, x is getting multiplied 2 times. 1, 2. So you got x squared. Or you can say x to the power of 2. Or it's x squared. So 1 times 1 is 1, but it can also be 1 squared, which is still going to equal 1. So the number right here is an exponent, which is spelled like this. Exponent. Okay, I'm drawing a little sloppy, but I'm doing this on my computer. But this is an exponent right here, and this is the element, the mathematical element right here. But I'm not going to, well, I'm just going to explain this, the exponent. So this is why x times x is x squared, mostly. And you see, if x had a value, if the x had a value, then it would be that value multiplied 2 times, then I'll get the answer. It'll be that value squared, or it'll just be the answer multiplied 2 times, like if it has a value of 1, it will be 1 times 1, which is 1, or 1 squared. But let's erase. Find the erase button. There it is. Let's erase this right here. And let's do another math problem. Let's do 3 times x. So I'm going to give you the answer and explain why it's that number. I mean, why it's that answer. So you see, 3 times x is just 3x. So you see, when you take when it comes to having like a number and a letter, like a mathematical number and a letter, and you're multiplying them together, you're just gonna combine them together. Or when it comes with a letter, or if it's a letter multiplied by a letter, it'll just be those two letters combined. Like x times y, it'll equal xy. I'm gonna erase that, make it more neat. I messed up. It's too much. Erased too much. But this is the answer for x times y, but we're focusing on this answer. But you can also, I see, when you do it with two numbers, and you just bunch them up together, like if you do 3 times 3 and put 30 and bunch up the 3 and the 3 together, it will look like 33, so you're like making the answer 33. So it'll confuse someone and it'll make them think that you're putting the answer 33, but 3 times 3 is 9. So if you want to combine them together, you should at least put parentheses, or you can put like brackets, or I think we're called braces or brackets, I don't know, or curly braces. Well, you know what, mostly you just put parentheses. I would just say parentheses, because I mean, they're all the same thing, brackets, parentheses, curly braces, I think most of the same thing a little. But if you put it like this, then it'll show that you're just combining them together, but you have to put parentheses around them to show that it's a multiplication and you're like combine them together. Because also parentheses represent multiplication as well. Well, it doesn't really have to be combined together. They don't want to be combined together, I guess. But apparently parentheses can represent multiplication as well, and brackets too, mostly, I think. But parentheses can represent, well, brackets and curly braces. I don't know. Maybe I think brackets are called braces. I don't know, but mostly they represent multiplication. So this right. So parentheses around 3 and 3 and 2 of the 3's, it will represent 3 times 3, and then you'll get 9. But this is the answer. So apply these two together, combine them together. Let's erase. Do one more problem, then we'll end the video. Okay, let's do 2 times x times y over y. So this might be a difficult problem, but you see, as parentheses around it, so it represents multiplication. So we can put that multiplication sign right there to show that's multiplication. So you see, actually, let me point this out. So you see, I'm gonna point this out. So you see, okay, my battery's running low. I'm gonna charge my computer real quick. I'll be right back. Well, it's a laptop, but still, it's mostly the same thing. Kind of the same thing, mostly, but charge it. Get back up to the video. Alright. I charged it. I'm charging it. So, see, when you multiply like a number, and you're multiplying that number by a fraction, you take that number and multiply it by the numerator, which is the top of the fraction. So you multiply these two, then you take that product, which is the answer of a multiplication equation, and then you divide by the bottom, because you see, a fraction represents division. So you multiply by the top and divide by the bottom. So because 3 times 1 is 4. I mean, no, actually 3 times 1 is not 4. 3 times 1 is 3. And you take that. 3 divided by 2, I think, is 1.5. Yeah, 1.5, yeah. It's 1.5. It's 1.5, and you got your answer. But let's get back to the video. So you multiply. So that's how it works. When you usually multiply a number by a fraction. Or you can do it with two fractions. You have to multiply the two numerators by each other. And multiply the two denominators by each other. But that's mostly a little different. This is a number multiplied by a fraction. So we're going to take... Well, let's do this first. So you see, you got x times y. That's going to be xy. Because you remember... when it's like a letter and a letter multiplied by each other, you're going to combine them together. Now usually if it's like y, now you see, wait, let me point this out. Y times x equals xy. But let me point this out as well. Y times x would probably equal xy as well. Okay, I'm drawing sloppy, sorry. It's just a computer, but still. This would probably still be xy, because usually the x, it would be more proper to have the x before the y. But let's get on with this problem. So, x times y is xy, so equal 2 times xy over y. It looks sloppy, I know, but still. And then that would equal, so we're gonna, when you have a number and you multiply by a fraction, you multiply the number by the numerator, which is xy. So apparently you're going to combine 2 and xy together, so that'll make 2xy. You're combining them together because it's a letter. It's mostly 2 letters, x and y, but still, and you have a number. You're going to combine them together. It's the same as when there's a letter and another letter multiplying by each other. You combine them together. So now we have 2x over y. So you see, we have a y in the numerator, but 2xy, and we have a y in the denominator. So you see, if we have a y right here, we can cross them out. So you see, this is a method that some of you people might have heard of, but this is a method that you can use. Like if you have a 4 times 5 over 5. you have a 5 right here or a 5 right here, you cross that out. Well, 4 times 5 is 20, but still, this can help. You have 2 5s right here, cross them out, so the answer will be 4. Cross that out. Let's erase that. Now let's get back into the video. No, wait, let's get back to the problem. So we have the 2 y's crossed out. So now all we have is 2x. So the answer is going to be 2x. Because we crossed the y in the numerator and we crossed the y. Well, we crossed out the y in the numerator and we crossed out the y in the denominator. And you're crossing out the element in the denominator and one element in the numerator, so there's mostly no fraction anymore. So and all that's left is this right here, 2x, because we crossed out the 2 y's, so all that's left is the 2x. So the answer is going to be 2x. So I answered 3 questions. Well, I did 3 basic algebraic problems, math problems, or math problems. Well, they're the same thing, but math and mathematics, same thing. Math is just abbreviated. But I did 3. I worked out the 3rd one. I explained why those were the answers for the 2 problems I did before the 3rd problem. Like I gave you the answer and I explained why those were the answers. I gave you the answers and explained why those were the answers, but I hope this helped you, and I hope you learned something new. So I'll see you when I make another video. Bye.